Hi BookTube, it's Amy, and I'm back again reading from the Anatomy of Bibliomania by Holbrook Jackson. Today we are on page 85 with a section titled, Friends That Change Not, Yet Are Ever New. Petrarch found books friends whose society was always delightful. They are of all ages and countries, distinguished in affairs and sciences, knowledge, easy to live with. They come at our call and retire when we desire them. No distracting element about a book. Leave it alone, and it will leave you alone. Books are never out of humor, never envious or jealous. They answer all questions with readiness. They reveal the secrets of nature, the events of the past. They teach us how to live and how to die. They dispel melancholy by their mirth and amuse by their wit. They prepare the old to suffer everything and desire nothing. They introduce us to ourselves. They uphold the downcast and restrain the conceited by warning that days are swift and life short. And all they ask in return is a quiet corner where they may be safe from the attacks of their enemies. To divert at any time a troublesome fancy, Fuller advises, run to thy books. They always receive thee with the same kindness. Pliny also found his joy and solace in books. No gladness they cannot increase, no sorrow they cannot lessen. He flew to them as the sole alleviators of his fears. They helped him to understand his troubles better, his fears to bear more patiently. And Montaigne, in his Tower of Learning, is tranquilly disposed towards them, as all know. Commerce of books everywhere assisted him. It comforts me in age, and solaceth me in my solitariness. It easeth me of the burden of wearisome sloth, and at all times rids me of tedious companies. But what strange art, what magic can dispose the troubled mind to change its native woes, or lead us willing from ourselves to see others more wretched, more undone than we? This book can do, nor this alone. They give new views to life, and teach us how to live. They soothe the grieved, the stubborn they chastise. Fools they admonish and confirm the wise. Their aid they yield to all, they never shun the man of sorrow nor the wretch undone. Unlike the horror, the selfish and the proud, they fly not sullen from the suppliant crowd, nor tell to various people various things, but show to subjects what they show to kings. Quoting from Crabbe's The Library, which is a poem, it seems. When Lawrence Sterne's neighbors thought him alone, he was in company with more than 500 mutes, each of whom, at my pleasure, communicates his ideas to me by dumb signs, quite as intelligibly as any person living can do by uttering words. They keep their distance as he directs, or come to him when he pleases. He handles 50 of them in an evening as he likes. They never complain of ill usage, and take no offense when dismissed, though ever so abruptly. Such convenience, he maintains, is not to be enjoyed. No such liberty to be taken with the living. Jeremy Collier confirms this in a memorable essay where he argues that, conversing with books, we may not only choose our company, but disengage without ceremony or exception, and farther, we are free from the formalities of custom and respect. We need not undergo the penance of a dull story from a fop of figure, but may shake off the haughty, the impertinent, the vain at pleasure. Besides all this, authors, like women, commonly dress when they make a visit. They polish up their thoughts and exert the force of their understandings out of respect to themselves, far more than they would in ordinary conversation, thus giving the reader the spirit and essence in a narrow compass, which was drawn off a much larger proportion of time, labor, and expense. He is like an heir born rather than made rich, inheriting a stock of sense with little or no trouble of his own. Well may the poet boast, all round the room my silent servants wait, my friends in every season. And well may another claim that they are the most mannerly of companions, accessible at all times and all moods, frankly declaring the author's mind without offense. We have now less cause to wonder that Charles Lamb's poor student found shelter among books, which insult not, and studies that ask no question of a youth's finances. It is this coyness, this well-mannered diffidence, which makes them supreme for companionship. For they are as guiltless of a desire to obtrude as they are insensitive to neglect. Emerson lived among his books, and was never comfortable away from them, yet, says Cabot, they did not much enter into his life. They were pleasant companions, but not counselors, hardly even intimates. But his books were not chagrined. They were content to serve and wait for an intimacy, and remained still faithful if it never came. A good book is a friend, the best of friends, that cannot be estranged or take offense, however neglected, but returns at will with the old friendship. Quoting from W.J. Lytton's In Book Song. To this warm and undying feeling of the friendliness of books, I could go on, multiplying tributes ad infinitum, but will do no more than give you a handful of commendations gathered from various reliable authorities in support of this pleasant theme. Books are the best solitary company in the world. Quoting from Sir W. Waller's Divine Meditations. Cheering and soothing companions in solitude, illness, and affliction, from W.E. Channing's Self-Culture. He that loveth the book will never want a faithful friend, from Isaac Barrow's On Industry. They wind into the heart, from Hazlitt's lecture on dramatic literature. They are sweet, unreproaching companions to the miserable, from Goldsmith's Vicar of Wakefield. And when all that is worldly turns to dross around us, these only retain their steady value. When friends grow cold, books only continue the unaltered countenance of happier days. Cheer with true friendship, which never deceived hope nor deserted sorrow. Quoting from Washington Irving's The Sketchbook. For they nourish youth, delight old age, adorn prosperity, afford a refuge and solace in adversity, forming our delights at home, anything but hindrances abroad. They are our nightly associates, our indoor and out-of-door companions. Quoting from Cicero. The best of them all, and the most rational, have said in this kind, but neither he, they, nor any one of them gives his reader, to my judgment, the satisfaction which he ought, unless he claims, as Andrew Lang does, that a book is a friend whose face is constantly changing, but ever remaining a friend, and all the more because of the changes in us, to whom the book is a mirror, reflecting our moods, hopes, joys, and sorrows. Dideum docet, one day teacheth another. And books are the friendly legionnaires in this great advance. It is every man as he likes, so every man, so many minds, so many days, so many moods, and by the help of books, all tending to good purpose, though each is different after its own manner. It will be a great delight to him in the next world, Robert Southey confesses, to revisit his books among the lakes of Cumberland, and to tell them what excellent company he found them. For I exist more among the dead than the living, and think more about them, perhaps feel more about them. Coleridge is gone to Devonshire, he tells G.C. Bedford, and I was going to say I am alone by the sight, but the sight of Shakespeare and Spenser, Milton, and the Bible on my table, and Castaneda and Barros and Osorio at my elbow, tell me I am in the best of all possible company. What were days without such fellowship? Asks A.B. Alcott. And he answers that we are alone in the world without it. Ye dear companions of my silent hours, I call myself a solitary, but sometimes I think I misapply the term. No man sees more company than I do. I travel with mightier cohorts around me than ever did Timur or Genghis Khan on their fiery marches. Quoting from Alexander Smith's Dreamthorpe. There is room for all, those who know and enjoy the companionship of the patricians of intellect and imagination by conversation with them, and those who know by outward contact, for many are joyful merely in rubbing shoulders with nobility. But while you converse with lords and dukes, I have their betters here, my books. Quoting from Thomas Sheridan. Others are fain not only to be in the great tradition, but to be of it by right of possession, as Friedrich Locker, when he confessed, I seem to be nearer to Shakespeare when I have his volume of sonnets, edition 1609, open before me. As well he may, for the rest, everyone to his taste and estate, for as Oliver Wendell Holmes rightly gave out, they are well-mannered companions, each knows his place, and each may claim his part in some quaint corner of his master's heart. Quoting from Wendell Holmes' The Steady. Every reader who holds a book in his hand is free by the inmost minds of men past and present. Their lives, both within and without, the pale of their uttered thoughts are unveiled to him. He needs no introduction to the greatest, quoting from Friedrich Harrison's choice of books. He may hear the voice of Demosthenes, Homer, or Roman Virgil, welder of the stateliest measure ever molded by the lips of man, quoting from Tennyson's To Virgil. He may hear Burke perotate at Westminster, Johnson dogmatize in Fleet Street, Socrates argue, Rabelais laughed, Augustine confess, Swift scoff, Pepys gossip, Donne preach, Carlyle scold, Ruskin lecture, Taylor pray, Scott yarn, Herrick sing, Whitman sound his barbaric yap, Shelley beat in the void his luminous wings in vain, or Swedish Shakespeare, fancy's child, warble his native wood notes wild. And as the chattering of the world dies down, books will sing to him unheard melodies, and whisper eloquence born of the very sigh that silence heaves. Quando omnis locutor, that's a word, a deliberant optimum mutus et mortis est concilium hominis cuqua si tacient vocem inventient libre et qua nemo dicis prudens suggerit antiquitas. Goodness, more proof that I do not know Latin. But we have a footnote here suggesting that it is from the inscription Gulferbeline Bibliothek, or Bibliothea, which I think translates to our next line here. When all men talk and deliberate, the best counsel is from the silent dead. If men are silent, then books will find a voice. What no one says, the wisdom of the ages will suggest, and even voluble love is best heard in the voice of silence. O let my books be then the eloquence, and dumb presagers of my speaking breast, who plead for love and look for recompense, more than the tongue that more hath more expressed. O learn to read what silent love hath writ, to hear with eyes belongs to love's fine wit, quoting from Shakespeare's sonnets. And that is the end of that section, and I apologize once again for my attempts at reading the Latin there. But friends that change not, yet are ever new. Some good quotes there. I especially like that one about the best counsel is from the dead. If men are silent, then books will find a voice. And I believe there he is quoting, it's not clear to me who he's quoting from. Maybe that is from the Shakespeare. Maybe they're his own thoughts, because that's before the Shakespeare verse, but it's after we get our footnote from the inscription below. But regardless of where it's from, whether it is his own words or the words of another, I do like that sentiment. But we'll end it there for today. And we've made it all the way to the beginning of part 6, which is titled Of the Reading of Books. And the next one will be titled Reading with Purpose.